It is possible to care for someone with your whole heart while simultaneously losing who you are. When that loss of self happens, the hurt cuts deep. Many folks assume that pulling back emotionally means you being cold, uncaring, or cruel. The reality is different. Sometimes stepping back is the only path toward finding your inner calm again when someone has occupied too much territory in your thoughts. You recognize that sensation. Your emotions rise and fall based on whether they text you back. How your entire day unfolds depends on if they pay attention to you. Your identity gradually becomes smaller, revolving entirely around them. This ISN to genuine affection. This is needing them to feel okay. And it exhausts even the most resilient individuals. The ancient Stoic thinkers understood that pain doesn't originate from another person. It comes from the significance we give to them in our minds. Right now, you're about to discover how to release that bond without falling apart in the process. This video will walk you through a practical, balanced, emotionally stable approach to getting yourself back, quietly, on your own terms, while keeping your self-respect intact. If you're prepared to feel like you can breathe freely again, your journey toward letting go starts here. Step 1. Figure out what you actually holding on to. Most folks assume they holding on to another person. But Stoic wisdom points to something much harder to face. You're not really holding on to them as they are. You're holding on to the narrative you created about them. That narrative carries weight. It is filled with feeling, symbolism, and sometimes feels almost holy. It's the image of them you clung to during your happiest moments and your darkest hours. It's the version you played over and over in your head when you craved reassurance, approval, excitement, or a feeling that you belong somewhere. But narratives can trap you, especially when the actual person stops resembling the character you invented for them. Getting emotionally stuck rarely involves pure human connection. It's really an unspoken agreement built on 3 hidden foundations: what you expected, what you imagined, and what became routine. Until you identify these 3 elements separately, you'll continue feeling connected to someone who might not deserve the real estate they taking up in your emotions. Let's examine expectations first. These are the scenarios you envisioned happening down the road, the talks you never actually had, the big moments you saw coming, the someday situations you practiced in your imagination. Expectations hook you because they offer a sense of predictability in an unpredictable world. But when things shift or end, you're not only losing them, you're watching an entire imagined timeline crash down around you. The Stoic philosophers cautioned against exactly this pitfall. Pain starts when we hold tight to how we want things to be rather than accepting what actually is. Expectations are deals made in your head that the other person never agreed to. Yet when they dawn to come through, you feel like they let you down. To break free, you need to first admit that the future you grieving was constructed by your thoughts, not based on what they actually did. Next comes the part about illusion. Illusion is the polished up version of them. The version you see when you ignore warning signs, make excuses for their behavior, convince yourself that major differences don't matter, or mistake being lonely for being in love. Illusions expand when you concentrate on their possibilities instead of their actual track record. When you get attached to who someone might become rather than who they consistently show themselves to be, you deliberately walking into emotional trouble. And the deeper you go, the more impossible it feels to climb back out. Stoic thinking teaches that seeing things clearly is the ultimate form of inner power. You can disconnect from someone you want, to allow yourself to see honestly. The second you stop defending the fantasy version, you stop fueling your attachment. The third foundation is routine. Emotional routines often hold more power than emotional connections themselves. You might not actually miss the person. You miss the pattern. The texts when you wake up, the long talks before bed, the security of knowing what to expect, the steady beat your nervous system got used to. When you lose someone, those patterns get disrupted, and the uncomfortable feeling seems like a broken heart. But a lot of that hurt is just your system adjusting to something new. Stoic thinkers would tell you that you're not the same as your automatic reactions. You are defined by what you deliberately choose to strengthen. Routines lose their grip when you build new, purposeful patterns that support your peace instead of your yearning. To genuinely detach, you must separate the actual person from the story they've been telling. You need to identify where your heart is gripping onto expectations, where your mind is attached to fantasy, and where your body has become dependent on familiar patterns. And that understanding starts with one of the toughest but most freeing tasks you'll ever tackle. Write out the 3 difficult truths you've been dodging. Get a blank sheet of paper and answer these 3 questions with complete honesty. What did I think they would give me that they never really provided? What characteristics did I imagine they had that they didn't actually show on a regular basis? What daily patterns or repeated interactions am I longing for more than I'm longing for them as a person? These answers, feel good to write. But discomfort is where detachment is born. When you look at the complete picture without emotional haze blocking your view, you weaken the hold that kept you tied to someone who might not have lined up with your personal growth, your peace of mind, or what matters most to you. Now use the Stoic approach. What is real versus how you see it. What is real is what took place. How you see it is the meaning you attach to what took place. What is real contains no emotion. How you see it is loaded with emotion. When you mix these up, you hurt. When you keep them separate, you can breathe easier. Step 2. Take back your mental territory there. That's a point in every difficult attachment when you notice something that is hard to swallow. The person you reworking to disconnect from ISN to just part of your history. They still occupying your headspace. They fill your mornings. They invade your nights. They lurk in the corners of your mind while you attempting to work, commute, or just exist. This goes beyond emotional attachment. It is a mental takeover. And until you reclaim that territory in your mind, no amount of physical space, radio silence, or rational thinking will feel like it's enough. Stoic philosophy starts with a straightforward but revolutionary concept. Take charge of what fills your mind. Marcus Aurelius observed that your mind gets colored by whatever thoughts you focus on most. So if someone constantly takes up your mental energy, your feelings will go along for the ride. Your nervous system follows, your routines follow, your vitality follows, even how you see yourself follows. The actual struggle isn't against the other person. It is against the room they claimed in your head. You can emotionally disconnect while they still everywhere in your thoughts. Most folks don't realize just how strong this mental presence can be. You might have stopped communicating with them, but you keep going back over old discussions, running through disagreements again, analyzing tiny details, searching for traces of them, scrolling through their updates, or creating mental scenarios where everything finally clicks into place. Even the quiet becomes a connection that still binds you. Your mind turns into a space crowded with their outline, and you can move through your own existence without running into it. This is why Stoic teaching includes a type of discipline that most people sidestep, protecting your focus like your well-being depends on it. Because honestly, it really does. What you focus on creates memories. Memories create feelings. Feelings create who you become. When your focus stays locked on someone, that connection runs through every part of your inner experience. To take back your mental territory, you need to practice something I'm calling a mental unfollow. It's not about blocking them on apps. It's about blocking them in your thinking. It is unfollowing the mental versions of them that your brain keeps checking on compulsively. A mental unfollow is deliberate, not just a reaction. It's the active choice to quit feeding the thought patterns that keep you emotionally bound. Here is what most people want to acknowledge. You disconnect faster from someone you quit thinking about, not just someone you quit speaking to. The mental unfollow starts with paying attention. Every single time your thoughts drift toward them, whether it's curiosity, desire, guilt, fantasy, or frustration, stop and identify what is happening. Say to yourself, this is a mental visit. By naming it, you break the automatic emotional response. Stoic philosophy emphasizes this strongly. The harm doesn't come from having the thought itself, but from unconsciously giving into it. Naming what is happening creates a pause. In that pause, you get your control back. After you recognize these mental visits, the following step is to set boundaries on how long your mind gets to wander into their territory. You have to force yourself to never think about them. That is unrealistic. What you can manage is how long those thoughts last. Think in minutes, not hours. The guideline is straightforward. When a thought about them shows up, notice it, then steer your attention back to something that is happening right now. Something solid and actual. Your nervous system doesn't settle down through sheer determination. It settles through being guided elsewhere. Each time you redirect your mind, you build up that internal strength of detachment. Over time, your mind figures out how to come back to center without needing to be told. The next foundation for reclaiming your headspace is cutting down on mental triggers. These are the signals that drag you back into that person, this emotional pull. A particular song, a specific place, a notification pattern, an automatic scrolling habit, a collection of music, an old picture, a text you kept, or even a nighttime habit that used to involve them. You don't break free by avoiding these triggers. You break free by creating a new sense of self that doesn't rely on them anymore. This brings us to the most effective exercise, the 48-hour replacement ritual. Over the next 2 days, pick 3 triggers or habits that constantly bring them to mind. Maybe it is checking what they post online, looking through old pictures, reading past messages again, playing certain music, or rehearsing imaginary conversations. Then match each trigger with a substitute action that feeds your inner well-being. For instance, instead of checking their online presence, read 2 pages from a Stoic book. Instead of replaying old talks, write in a journal about what you gained from this experience. Instead of playing songs that remind you of them, create a new playlist that reflects who you regrowing into. This isn't about distraction. It is about rewiring. This isn't about running away. It is about taking back your mental real estate. People tend to underestimate how fast the brain adapts when routines change. When you consistently swap out the emotional trigger for a beneficial action, you reteaching your nervous system a fresh route, one that leads back to yourself, not back to attachment. Here is the Stoic reality. Your mental space is valuable. Not everyone deserves a place in it. The more you guard that space, the more understanding you develop. The more understanding you develop, the quicker the emotional confusion lifts. And when that confusion lifts, you discover something freeing. Letting go isn't about erasing them from your memory. It is about rediscovering who you are. Taking back your mental territory isn't about forcing someone out of your life. It is about bringing yourself back into focus. It is not about making them vanish. It is about putting yourself at the center again. And when you recover that territory, you recover the strength you didn't even know you be handed over. Step 3. Eliminate your automatic emotional responses. There is a point in every hurtful connection when the real pain doesn't stem from their actions, but from how your brain processes those actions. Stoic philosophy expresses this through one of its most impactful insights. Your suffering comes from your reactions, not from the text they never sent, not from the silence they left you with, not from the random memory that pops up unexpectedly, but from the emotional meaning your brain assigns to these moments. Automatic emotional responses are the hidden chains keeping you connected to someone even after things have shifted or completely ended. And until you shatter those chains, breaking free will seem out of reach. Automatic emotional responses reveal themselves in recognizable patterns. Your pulse jumps when you see their name appear. Your whole mood tanks when they dawn. Message back. Your thoughts spiral out of control when you notice they online, or one surprising memory sends you back into emotional turmoil. These responses seem instinctive, intense, beyond your control, like your body kicks in before your logical thinking can catch up. And honestly, that is somewhat accurate. Your nervous system is designed to react before you have time to consciously process things. But Stoic thinking exists to help you break into that reaction, create a space for decision-making, and take back your emotional authority. The Stoic philosophers developed a refined method to eliminate automatic emotional responses, a 3-part practice that transforms knee-jerk pain into stable understanding. Stop, identify, and reinterpret. This goes beyond just a way to cope. It is a method for rebuilding your emotional core. Part 1. Stop and take one meaningful breath. Most emotional harm occurs within the first 3 seconds of reacting. Your brain picks up a trigger, your body reads it as a threat, and your feelings surge before you had a chance to pull back. Stopping is the most basic yet most life-changing Stoic technique. When something affects you, whether it is a message, radio silence, a flashback, or a social media post, do absolutely nothing for a second. Don't to fire back. Don't to overthink it. Don't to give it meaning. Just stop. The stopping breaks the automatic pattern. It provides your brain with the space needed to select a better response. Marcus Aurelius observed that if something outside yourself bothers you, the hurt doesn't come from the thing itself, but from how you judge it, and you possess the ability to withdraw that judgment. Stopping is when that withdrawal starts. In that single breath, you retrieve a piece of who you are. Part 2. Identify. Name what you are feeling before it defines you. When a trigger strikes, your emotional center wants to freak out, blow things out of proportion, or imagine the worst. But when you put a name to what you re-experiencing, you shift the emotion from the instinctive part of your brain to the rational part. Rather than being swallowed by the feeling, you rise above it. Say clearly to yourself, this is nervousness. This is wanting them back. This is disappointment. This is being scared of losing something. This is my body remembering a pattern, not my emotions telling me the truth. Naming doesn't make the emotion disappear, but it transforms how you relate to it. You're no longer the same as the emotion. You become someone watching it happen. This represents one of the most profound Stoic changes, moving from reacting to observing. When you observe an emotion, it can dictate what you do anymore. Part 3. Reinterpret. Change the story your brain is creating. Every emotional reaction runs on a narrative, not on the trigger itself, but on the significance you give it. An unanswered text turns into, they don't devalue me. Spotting their post turns into, they'd be better off now that I'm gone. A memory turns into, I'll never experience this again. None of these readings are actual facts. They emotional stories your brain constructs to make sense of what you done. Do you know? Reinterpreting means deliberately rewriting that story. Ask yourself Stoic questions. What other explanations could there be? What's the most emotionally neutral way to read this? Am I dealing with facts or my interpretation? What do their actual behaviors show, not what my fears imagine? What action matches my self-respect, not my neediness? The reinterpretation returns you to what is actually happening, not the fantasy created by emotion. After you reinterpret, the emotional intensity starts to fade. You start breaking free, not because you forcing yourself to stop feeling, but because you quit fueling the emotional narratives that trapped you. Real-world examples of stopping reactivity. When a text message sets you off, stop, done, to reply right away. Identify. This is anxiety about being overlooked. Reinterpret. When they respond doesn't determine my value. When a memory hits you powerfully, stop, take a breath before you start spinning. Identify. This is looking back fondly, not reality. Reinterpret. If it was right for me, it would still be part of my life. When something on social media bothers you, stop, quit looking at your feed. Identify. This is jealousy mixed with desire. Reinterpret. What people share online is their best moments, not their actual life. These small instances are where breaking free either happens or fails. The Stoic practice. Trigger response chart. Over the next several days, document every trigger that stirs up your feelings. Be truthful, detailed, and done to judge yourself. Beside each trigger, record a Stoic substitute reaction. Example, trigger, spotting their username online. Stoic reaction, notice it, done, to analyze it. Trigger, no response for several hours. Stoic reaction, quiet tells me something too. Trigger, a painful memory surfaces. Stoic reaction, remembering doesn't mean I should return. This practice reprograms your emotional instincts. Little by little, reacting turns into reflecting. Reflecting turns into understanding. Understanding turns into freedom. Here's it's real. You don't break free by pushing feelings down. You break free by controlling how you respond to feelings. When you quit reacting, you quit draining your energy. When you quit draining your energy, the connection weakens. And when the connection weakens, your inner calm has space to come back. The other person stays the same. The circumstances don't suddenly fix themselves, but you transform. And that transformation changes absolutely everything. Step 4. Reconstruct your sense of self without them there. It's a difficult but freeing contradiction at the heart of emotional disconnection. You were not hurting because you lost them. You were hurting because you lost the version of yourself that existed while they were part of your world. That version felt desired, selected, necessary, linked to someone. That version had a purpose, a routine, a path forward connected to another human being. When that link breaks, it's not only the relationship that falls apart. It's the sense of self you built around it. And that is what makes the pain cut so deep. You re-mourning the loss of who you believed you to keep being. Stoic philosophy demands something completely different. Your sense of self must be rooted in self-control, not in another person. Your value can rest on whether someone remains, picks you, affirms you, or gets you. The Stoic sense of identity stands on three foundations: self-control, self-confidence, and dedication. Not emotions, not approval, not connection. When your identity comes from within instead of from relationships, breaking free becomes not only achievable, but instinctive. Self-control means you direct your patterns, feelings, and choices, not the person you reworking to disconnect from. It means you quit allowing their presence or absence to control how you view yourself. Self-confidence means trusting that you can make it without the version of life you pictured with them. It means trusting your strength more than your worries. And dedication means being there for yourself, even on days when you feel hollow, isolated, or uncertain. But reconstructing your identity isn't just theory. It is hands-on. You rebuild yourself by deciding who you regrowing into. To start, make what I am calling the identity restart list. List 5 characteristics that describe you that have zero connection to them. Not memories you shared, not habits you had together, not hopes you built together, only what is completely, independently yours. Ask yourself, what traits do I have even when nobody is around? What abilities, interests, or strong points are mine alone? What aspects of my character survive, even after getting my heart broken? Your list might feature determination, imagination, drive, kindness, dedication, wit, or the capacity to start over after falling. These are the aspects of you that the relationship never touched. These are the foundation for your next chapter of self. After you have your list, the following step is the practice of strengthening. Set aside 1 full hour each day for something that feeds the identity you want to develop. 1 hour where your attention isn't on them, not on what was, not on the story that ended, but on the future you recreating. This hour might involve working out, picking up a new skill, advancing a work goal, writing in a journal, reading something meaningful, working on a hobby, sitting in meditation, or training your mind. The specific activity doesn't matter. What matters is that it makes you bigger, because identity gets built through doing things repeatedly, not through feeling inspired. Each day you put in that hour, you become someone less marked by what you lost and more marked by how you re-expanding. You move from being someone shaped by a relationship to being someone who shapes their own life. And gradually, you understand that breaking free isn't about shutting a door. It is about getting back to who you were before the attachment clouded your understanding of yourself. When you rebuild yourself, you no longer feel pulled to hold on to who you were with them. And at that point, breaking free stops being a fight and becomes a natural progression. Step 5. Establish space and fresh boundaries. Breaking free emotionally is impossible without one critical element: space. Not only physical space, but emotional and online space as well. Most folks attempt to break free while leaving every door wide open. The talks, the social media access, the old memories, the routines, the subtle ways of staying in touch. But you can recover in the same setting that caused the damage. You can get clarity back while still standing in the emotional aftershock of someone who no longer serves the same purpose in your world. There are 3 types of space you need to establish. Physical space is the most straightforward. Seeing them less frequently, staying away from places you both go for a while, and giving your nervous system room to settle. Emotional space goes deeper. It is pulling back from their issues, their troubles, their emotional state, their demands, and understanding that their life is no longer something you need to manage. Online space is the most overlooked. Every post, every text, every alert, every trace of them online keeps the injury fresh. Space isn't to be mean. It is getting clear. Stoic thinking frames this perfectly. Breaking free is an expression of self-respect. It is not punishing them. It is protecting yourself. A Stoic doesn't hold on to what disturbs their peace. They let go, create space, and choose calm over emotional disorder. Creating space is you announcing to life, my peace counts more than my urges. My limits count more than my wanting. My tomorrow counts more than my yesterday. But space needs to be backed up with limits. Clear, purposeful, unapologetic limits. These errand walls, they refilters that keep your energy from sliding back into old cycles. Here are boundary statements to help you take back control. The no boundary. I'm not open to this discussion right now. The feeling boundary. I can't play this part anymore. The clear boundary. I'm picking space for my own good. The redirect boundary. I'm putting myself first at this time. The final boundary. This isn't too good for me to keep doing. These limits aren't tee up for debate. They restatements of self-worth. When you say them calmly, without anger or lengthy explanations, you change the dynamic from needing them to owning yourself. To make this shift stronger, start the 7-day space restart. For the coming week, identify the 5 contact points that leave you most vulnerable. Checking what they post online, replying immediately, looking back through old messages, going to places that remind you of them, staying emotionally available to them. For each contact point, set a restriction or guideline. Cut back, hold off, or stop the actions that keep reopening the hurt. Every day you stick to these restrictions, your nervous system lets go a bit more. You recover space, you recover clarity, and eventually, you recover yourself. That's what space is for, not to force them away, but to guide you back to yourself. You've just gone through the 5 Stoic steps to break free emotionally, understanding what you really holding on to, taking back your mental territory, stopping automatic emotional responses, reconstructing your identity, and establishing fresh boundaries with self-respect. I'll catch you in the next video where we keep building inner strength, emotional control, and self-respect through Stoic philosophy.